Rasul Bodaghi, a former political prisoner and civil rights activist, arrested during Iran's nationwide uprising, ended his life. Fuad Chubin, uncle of the late Artin Rahmani and a member of the justice-seeking families, confirmed the news, saying Mr. Rasul never recovered from the physical and psychological torture he endured in detention. He was charged with corruption on earth, acting against the regime and collaborating with opposition groups, and spent months under brutal conditions in IRGC detention and Shayban prison. Sources say he endured flogging, severe mental abuse, and was forced to take suspicious medication. Even after his release, he made several suicide attempts. Though he tried to rebuild his life, the wounds never truly healed. He ended his life because of lasting physical and psychological trauma, a death that can only be seen as a direct continuation of the pressure and repression he was subjected to. Reza Mohammad Hosseini and Arsham Rezai, two monarchist political prisoners, along with at least 20 others, were brutally assaulted by security forces and special prison units before being transferred to solitary confinement. Their hands and feet were bound, sacks pulled over their heads. Reports say the prisoners have since launched a hunger strike to protest the violent crackdown and ongoing abuse inside the prison. Sajjad Mashhadi Hemmat Abadi, a monarchist political activist from Mashhad, has been in detention for over 40 days, yet his family still has no information about his condition inside Vakilabad prison. He was arrested at his home by plainclothes agents. Weeks have passed, but authorities have offered no explanation for his arrest or any detail about his current situation. A group of truck drivers in Bonab held a protest to voice their frustration over the authorities' continued neglect of their professional demands. Despite repeated promises in recent months, drivers say none of the issues they've raised have been addressed, and their working conditions remain chaotic and unfair. Their message: enough promises, it's time for real action. Industrialists and business owners from Tehran's Chahar-Dange industrial zone held a protest, speaking out against power outages that now last 3 days a week. The repeated blackouts have paralyzed production, caused heavy financial losses, and left many wondering how long they can keep their businesses running under such conditions. Also, residents from Mershahr, Karaj, gathered in front of the local power company to protest the repeated and unplanned electricity outages. Frustrated by the blackouts disrupting their daily lives, they demanded answers and accountability from the authorities. Residents of Khomam in Gilan province held a protest against the repeated water and electricity outages disrupting their daily lives. In response, Islamic Republic security forces resorted to violence, beating several of demonstrators in an attempt to silence the unrest. Also, as the water crisis drags on in several villages near Marivan, a group of local farmers held a protest over the complete water cutoff that's devastated their crops. According to local reports, the outage has lasted more than 10 days, causing severe damage to farms and orchards. Many farmers said they're now on the brink of bankruptcy. National housing applicants from Kashan marched toward the Isfahan governor's office in protest. Frustrated by broken promises and months of silence from officials, they gathered to demand accountability and answers about the fate of their long-delayed housing projects. Oil and gas workers at least 10 operational and refinery sites in southern Iran held protest gatherings. They're demanding full implementation of the wage reform plan, an end to pay discrimination between permanent, contract, and temporary workers, job security, and for the oil ministry to finally keep its promises. A group of Social Security retirees in Kermanshah held a protest in front of the local security office. They voiced their frustration over the worsening cost of living and the continued neglect by officials, demanding their rights be taken seriously. Social Security and retired teachers gathered in front of the main Social Security office in Tehran to protest the worsening cost of living, delays in overdue payments, and growing financial pressure they're under. A group of retired educators known as the 403s gathered outside the Ministry of Education in Tehran to protest poor living conditions and unpaid dues.